Where are our fathers? Where are they? Where are they? Where? We take the word father for granted, but many children are asking, where are you, Dad? They're wondering, where is my daddy? These fathers have unconscientiously stepped out of the picture, creating an undad situation. Many times, single mothers are being blamed. People look at them as just being bitter and trying to ruin the reputation of those men who have walked away from their responsibilities. So we've had two mothers on, and I think it's only fit, especially considering that we were approaching Father's Day, to have children perspective now. Let us hear it from their own experiences, what it's like growing up without a dad. Today, we will listen to two children, one male, one female, who have experienced the unnatural, undadding phenomenon of not having their fathers present in their lives. Let's welcome Lee and Dubai. So tell us, when was the last time you actually saw your father?
The last time I saw my father was the day of my grandmother's repast. I think that was like about 2 months ago. But before that, we haven't seen each other in about 3-4 years. I think probably even more, but about 3 plus 4 years.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe about 3 years or so, 3 to 5. I don't remember the last time we saw each other. It's been a while.
Can you remember the last meaningful exchange you had with him?
Around, I think I was probably like in 7th or 8th grade when he came to my school. I think my teacher had called him to have a conversation. He had to talk. Yeah, he had to talk. Yeah, he came upstairs in the school and we had to talk about, how I should behave in school and what I should do and what I should not do. But that was like 7th, 8th grade.
I don't think we had any in my life.
You've never had any meaningful exchange with your father?
No.
Do you think about your father not being in your life? And if you do think about him, how often do you sit and have those thoughts about him not being present? Can you shed some light on that?
Only when I'm broke. Only when things are hard. I wonder, what if he was there? What if, Not often, not very often.
I mean, I did, but it's like, I don't think it's much to think about when somebody hasn't been there. I'm disappointed. I could say I was hurt. I'm not hurt anymore because, I feel like my father is both my mom. My mom is both my mom and my father, but I'm a little disappointed because he doesn't really deserve to have the title as a father.
None. I don't have any feelings towards it. I don't try to think about it. I'm just completely shunned that out of my life.
Is there any part of him that you want to be like when you grew up?
For the most part, no, but a part, yes. What they call him, the fly. That's kind of funny.
I remember when he used to stay on top of his work and with his money. So that's literally the only aspect of him that I would love to take.
For the most part, 99%, 98. I would say 92.5% no. But the fly is kind of interesting. The fly is just a guy who's charismatic, right? But not very much, no.
Can you talk about the ways in which you've resolved not to be like him at all?
I've decided not to be like my father physically in terms of, my anger issues. That's one thing I know that I have that control, like no violence. Not anything like vulgar. I don't like being vulgar. I just like being respectful and helpful.
I just want to have 7 kids and be there for all of them the whole way through.
We know that for most children who have not had their biological fathers in their lives, God has been somehow good to them in that He positions certain people in their lives to kind of like pick up the roles of the biological father so the kids don't feel so broken. We know not all kids are fortunate enough to have that male figure step up and be a father to them, but we know most of them do. So Lee, Doobie, can you guys speak to the person or persons who are in your lives or who have been in your lives who have served as male role models to kind of like give you guys what you're missing from the father who birthed you and walked away?
The person who came closest is by far Jerry. Not by far. Zach did a good job. He was doing a good job. But Jerry has came the closest to being a father figure. He does what he has to do. He handles his business.
Well, Chris, Uncle Jerry, and Uncle Rashid.
Well, he takes care of my car. I don't know much about the car. I don't know much about cars. I was never a car person. But in the process of me moving from New York to Orlando, the only person who's been there, the only guy who's been there to help do it is Jerry. He knows a lot about the vehicles. Takes care of my insurance. And I'm sure he takes care of a lot of stuff that I don't see. So, yeah, of course.
They give me talks. They check up on me unannounced. They make me laugh even when I'm feeling down.
We have conversations too about politics and stuff. That's just what men do. That's just what guys do. We talk about the world. So I guess fathers will do it too, but I think that's just a guy thing. Guys talk about politics, we argue about basketball, sports, and try to find common ground.
And even when I'm not doing the right thing, or like I'll be curious and like ask them about things, they'll be very open-minded to me and tell me what's what and what's not right to do, and they guide me like.
Actually, a couple of things came to mind. First of all, I asked for money. First thing, because that's what I need in life. It is harder to survive off of one parent's income than to survive off two. So the most quintessential thing right now would be I need some funding. Second thing I might do is I'll probably curse him out.
There's one thing I could say to my father if I saw him right now. I honestly wouldn't tell him nothing. Like, I had the possibility to talk to my father before, and I didn't even go up to him. Just went my own way.
As you move through your life without a dad in it, how do you envision your future?
How I envision my future? I actually don't think about my future with or without a father. I think about my past with or without a father. I think my past would have been much different if I had grew up with a disciplinarian father there. There are some things a mother can try her hardest, but I don't think she can really understand to the fullest extent how to prevent her son from going through certain things in life, avoiding certain mistakes that men need to be able to avoid. So I think I would have avoided a lot of trouble. I think I probably would have been better with girls growing up. I would have made a lot of the mistakes I made in my past, and a lot of things could have been avoided. So I think about my past. I don't really think about my future. If I had a father,
like what? What could have been avoided?
Fights, just mistakes you learn along the way. Like, they say you could You could either learn from your mistakes or you learn from others' mistakes. And a father's job is to teach their children to learn from their mistakes, not to fall victim. So.
Family means everything, and there's certain stuff that my father used to do, because I haven't seen him in a long time, I don't know, but I feel like I shouldn't take part or have any aspect in that. So moving further on into my future, I know I'm not going to be talking to him, and I know I'm going to be where I want to be in life with y'all. I have grandkids. I have just 1 or 2 kids, nothing else, nothing more.
We have had these men who have gone outside of themselves, outside of their responsibilities, because they have children of their own, and they have come into your lives, and they have been very generous with their time, with their advice, with their love, and they have been fathers to you guys, as you guys mentioned. Is there anything you'd like to say to those fathers, those bonus fathers that you guys have been fortunate enough to have replaced? Or not maybe replaced, but taken up the responsibilities that your biological father has shunned?
Thank you for being there.
Thank you for showing me that there are other ways, other positive ways around things. You know, I don't always have to feel not necessarily like a burden, or like I'm so different, because other people, they're so close with their biological fathers. But I can say this man.
Yes, you can say whatever you want.
This man, he helped me. He made me realize, like, I don't even need a father, because at the end of the day, my mom is always here for me, and I'm growing up, so I want to be there for her as well, and not only her, but my family.
I appreciate you for all you've done. You're a good person. God will bless you.
Thank you to my support system. Love you all.
So, I am just saddened by the responses of those young people, what they've had to go through, but I'm blown away at how self-adjusted at least my son is, and I am thankful for the village. I am thankful for the support that he has received, despite the fact that his biological father has not been in his life. I am thankful for my niece. She's had a lot of struggles knowing that her father was not in her life, but again, she is still, blessed enough to recognize those people who have been there, who have made such a difference in her life. So young people, I want to ask you, are there any final words you'd like to say to those people who have, been there and who have shaped the kind of person you are? And if there is anybody who you would credit most of your growth to, who would that person be?
My mother, 100%. I'd say the majority of the growth I would credit to my mother. The vast majority. There are other people who are very influential, people I don't even know myself, people I've met along the way. From my teachers, Mr. Green is a great guy. Mr. Henry teaches me he taught me a lot about finances and how to be a better learner. And so many other people that influenced me on social media, really I learned a lot from. But I would say the vast majority, at least 60-70% of my growth the credit goes to my mother. I had to talk about Tiana too. Tiana is one of the most loving people I've ever met in my life. Very generous, a little bit too generous for her own good. I think I told her that before. She's too generous, but she will always make sure she looks out for me. I know for a fact if my mother was not here, Tiana would pick up the responsibility without a question. So I have to give her some credit as well. Wonderful lady. And, she has a spot in heaven for sure when it's her time.